Hey guys, it's Jeff. This is going to be part 4 of the Das Werk 8.8 centimeter off 9T or 9 ton VOMAG, I believe is the correct pronunciation. In this video we're going to work on the suspension. The step 2, I believe it is, yes, has the front suspension going together, and then step 3 has the rear. So let's see how far we can get today, okay? Alright, be right back. Thanks. Okay, here's all the parts for step 2, all cleaned up. This is basically the front suspension. And then these are the parts for part 3. Lots of pieces. I didn't count them. There's our frame. And here's our center section. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the directions real quick, and I'll show you what I want to do today. Be right back. Okay, everything in green has been completed. We did not put on part E1, which is that front bumper with those real fragile posts on the front. I'll put it on at a later date, but I'm afraid right now it'll just get broken. So we've got a sub-assembly D, and we've got a sub-assembly E that we need to put together. Okay, won't take just a couple minutes to do that. This is the front axle. I don't know. Let's go ahead and zoom in here. I'm not sure why they made it in 2 halves. It doesn't really, I don't really see why. But anyway, let's go ahead and get the front axle glued together. We'll let that get to where it's dry, and then we can continue on with some other stuff, okay? All right, let's go to the bench this time. Okay, here's all of our parts for the front axle. Let's go ahead and get those out of there. And that's the rod that goes between the 2 sides. I can't remember what you call it now, the tie rod. This is one spindle, the other spindle. There's the 2 halves of the axle, and this is part of the suspension here. So first thing we need to do is glue these 2 halves together. I'm not sure just why they made it in 2 halves, but it's not that big a deal to put together. It is keyed. We just want to make sure that it's set really well before we move on. I might even put a couple clamps on it. Okay, let's see here. Try and get it to where I don't have a bunch of glue on my fingers. This is one side. Okay, and there's the other. This is keyed. And I'll put the glue on it, and then I'll wait just a second, and then I'll reapply the glue. This is kind of softening the plastic. If you wait just a few seconds, it'll get it sticky. Then when you go over it and apply it again, well, first it kind of softens it, and then the second application gets it sticky. Learned that from Jason at Model Kit Stuff. Okay, get it all lined up. Let's see, let's take it off of there. There we go. Okay, I think I will put a couple of clamps on that. I've got a couple of these. We'll just snap on here real quick. And I'll let this dry for a little while. Okay. That should be sufficient. Okay, we'll just leave that for a little bit and I'll be back, okay? Thanks, guys. Okay, the front axle's pretty well dry, and I did a little modification here. I've got to find a slightly larger wire. I drilled my holes. The wire's 0.5 mil, and I think I drilled the holes like 0.55 was the nearest size drill bit I had, and they're just a little bit loose. So I'll have to find something heavier, do something to tighten that up. But I wanted to make them to where they could be turned. You can't put this part on, obviously, and glue it in place until you decide the angle you want these set at, and then it can all be glued. But anyway, what I did was I marked the axle. I put a dot here and a dot here. This all is facing forward, so I could make sure and get the parts on right. So I know, like this one here has got the dot, so that'll face forward also. Okay, let's go ahead and continue on with a couple other things, and then I'll work on getting that pinned. We can glue the springs on. They've got a, the way the spring is, this has got a little leaf that sticks out the back, and that will go to the rear, I believe. Let me see, make sure I'm looking at this right. Yeah, this will go here. Okay. It says to put attach the springs to the front axle and then put it on here, but I think it'll be better to do it this way. Use the glasses again. I think anyway. I'm pretty sure I can fish that through there okay. Yeah, it should be all right. That should be okay. Okay, let's get this glued and get these joints drying. Okay, I'm still turning down too far, aren't I? Okay, there's one. Here's the other one. Let's see here. Best way to do this. Still working on camera angles and things, guys. About like so. Let's put a little glue here and here first. Go this way. Okay. Okay, there's that. I think they're going to be fine. Okay, I wanted to also do, this is a little universal joint that needs to be put together. It'll just take a second. Let me see here real quick. Hard time telling if we're in focus or not. That's a little bit better. Okay. 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 We'll just leave that alone to dry and we'll use it a little later on, okay? Okay. Basically what I'm doing for pinning these, I'll come up with some bigger wire or something. This is the way these go on right here. Okay, and there's a molded in bolt on the top of that. So I've just been drilling straight through and then putting this over here and drilling down through it again to try and get them to where they can be swiveled. I'll work on that off camera a little bit. Shouldn't take a couple more minutes to get it done. It's real tedious. You got to really watch what you're doing, but that's kind of basically how you do it. Okay, I'll be back shortly. Thanks. Okay, sure is fiddly, but I got it. And I'm going to have to come up with some heavier wire or heavier brass rod, because this is just a little bit too loose to suit me. So we're not going to be able to put this on quite yet, so I'll save that. I want to wait until I get everything all lined up. I might even make a slightly bigger one so that I can actually pin it to make it to where it's going to be usable. This is just so tiny. I'm not sure if I could drill through that. It would be so fragile. I'll work it out. Anyway, there's the two front spindles on, but we've still got these parts to put on. Okay, they're gonna go right here. Let's see here, make sure I'm looking at this the right way. They'll glue on. I'm not sure, this is something to do with the suspension. That'll glue on right there, and that'll go forward into the brake drum, this little part right here. So let's glue these on. I'm sorry, I'm bumping the camera again. Got to come up with something better. Okay, let's get these glued on. That one will go right there. Okay. It's like that. And then this one will go right here. Pull that wire back just a touch. Yeah, that's where that's going to go. I've got some brass rod, but I'm not sure, it may be too big. I'll come up with something. Worst comes to worst, I can always just glue it in solid. But after pinning them, I'd like to keep them that way. Okay. Oh, that wasn't quite on, was it? Okay. Okay. I'll be right back, okay, guys? Okay, these have had a chance to set up a little bit. I'll work on getting something for that wire. But, my dot is about to wear off, but this is going to go, you know, and maybe I did make a mistake here. I might have to actually, yep, I'm going to have to take these off. That's why they want you to put the springs on the axle and then put it on. But this will work out since I've got them pinned, they can be done separately. Okay, so we've got to get these lined up. Be just like so. Okay, nothing to that. Like everything fits good. Yeah, that'll fit just fine. Okay, put a little glue on there. And the mark to the front, like so. Okay, there's the front axle on. I'm going to let that set up for a while. I'll put these spindles back on a little later. I just want to give that a good chance to firm up. We could go ahead and put, where did it go now? Well, I've got this to still put together. Then I had another little part that we just made up. Oh, it's still on here. I'm not thinking. Okay, this is supposed to go here. Okay. Some kind of a universal joint. I'm wondering, we've got to put one between here. And I would have thought it would have been better to put on this end and then put the transmission in and then put another one in. But that's the way the instructions say, so it might be something you'd want to think ahead about. But we'll see how much trouble it is to get this drive shaft in. There's that one. I did sand the bottom of this. Got the joint all cleaned up good on it. Okay, now this might be a little tricky. We'll put this together and see if we can get it in. Okay, and then this is supposed to go here. See, it's going to be a real snug fit. I would have been better off to put this in and then put the transmission in. I think we can flex it enough, hopefully without breaking it, but I would have preferred to do it the other way. If I can get it in there. Okay, that's not the best way to do it, but it's on. Okay, I would have preferred to put this in and then put this in and then push the transmission back. A little bit less chance of breaking anything. Okay guys, let's put these back on. This will go, that's why I did the marks. This will go here. Put the pin back in. So, whoops. Well, that's going to be too fiddly to do on camera. Hang on just a minute. I'll be right back. Okay, I got them back on there. There's the front suspension, all except for the tie rod, which I don't want to glue in place because that'll keep us from pivoting these. I'll come up with something. Whether I just put a piece of wire across there or make up a piece of brass or something, we'll figure it out. There's the drive shafts in place. Okay, I'm going to put some pictures up, but this one about do it for this one, okay? And in the next one, we'll get working on rear suspension. All right, you guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.